Okay, we will start the class. Today we are going to discuss the topic of arrays, right? Today we are going to discuss arrays and types in the arrays. We have the multi-dimensional arrays and the single dimensional array. There are the two types. We are go with that. Another one is the jagged array. We are not discuss a lot around that. The main types will be the దండం పెడతా మ్యూట్ చేయరా నా వాయిస్ నేనే వెళ్ళిపోతున్నా right. Right, I will share my screen. First, we will discuss the topic. After that, we will move to the how to declare the arrays and how can we access the elements in the array, how can we traverse in the arrays, and all the things we can discuss. First, we will discuss that what is an array. Hmm. Firstly, what is an array? Array, array is a it is a data structure which stores the elements in the continuous memory location. The continuous memory location. First, you have to understand what is a continuous memory location means. Suppose imagine, suppose imagine the thing. It is one memory. Okay, it is a one space of memory. Inside a memory, continuous memory location means. Suppose this location of the memory normally is in a hexadecimal. So for our convenience, we can take it as a normal integers. It is 100th location. It is 104 location, right? If 100 location means 100 after only you have the 101 location and 102 location and 103 location, like that you have the continuous memory location entire the space of memory, right? Continuous memory location means one after another, okay, in a sequence of mad order. And here one, why I shows the one is one means one byte here, one means one byte here, okay. If you taking the example of the integers 100 104, normally the memories, the lowest memory unit will be the bit, 8 bits becomes 1 byte, right? Like that, lowest memory unit is bit, 8 bits becomes 1 byte. We 4 bits also we calling as a nibble, 4 bits we calling as a nibble, but we are convenient with the showing with the bytes all. That means this means 1 byte location, it is another byte location. That means there are 108 bits here, okay, 8 bits here. Like this we have a continuous memory location. That means if you are storing the elements, why this array needs, suppose a is an array, normally array can be declared like this 1 2 3 4 5 6. That means suppose what is the difference between a normal variable and an array is normal variable, what it do, normal variable only stores the a value, a single value, but here it stores the one collection of values. collection of values. It is we are calling as a reference data type or non-primitive data type. Array is called as non-primitive data type. Why? Because it will refers to the address. Actually, when always your array refers to the first element in an array. Okay, suppose this first element is stored at the 100. These all integers. So every element occupies the 4 bytes of memory. Then next memory at 104. Third element at 108. Next at 112. Next at 114. Sorry, 116. Like that. 4 bytes as a space. Suppose it is take it this as an example. Taking this as an example of array, it is stored in a continuous memory location, right? Suppose it is a continuous memory location. In this first, it is one space of memory, it is another space of memory, it is another space. Normally memory is like that. That means one box will be the 1 byte, or based on the data type you are storing. Suppose simply it is an array. Taking this as an array, okay, here it is the 1, it is the 2, it is the 3, it is 4, it is 5, 6. Suppose 7 is there, then 7, right? Suppose it is at the starting location of 100 or 120. Suppose it is the starting location of 120. Okay, your a, this entire array is in a. Now your a refers to the first element location. That means 120. Your a refers to 120. Okay, a refers to 120. Suppose next your second element is at 124. Why? Because we are all storing it as a integer data type. So we are storing it as a integer data type. So one integer data type occupies the 4 bytes of memory. So this element occupies 4 bytes of memory. So this element is at 124 location. Next element is at 128 location. Next is at 132 location. Like this, in a continuous memory location it will store, right? Array stores the elements in a continuous memory location. Continuous memory location means in a sequence of order. That means you can access the array of elements by using the indexes. Okay, starting element index is 0, next element is 1, next element is 2, next element is 3, next element is 4, next element is 5. Index starts from 0. Why the index starts from 0? Why it will not start from 1? Means you are actually a. Suppose you have to access one element, you can simply call like a of 0 or a of 1 or a of 2, like that you have to call. Suppose I have called like a of 0. Why I am starting with the 0th index? Because a means first memory location 120, right? 120. Suppose the first is element is at 120 location only, right? First element is at 120 location only. Suppose you have to add 0 bytes to that. 0 bytes. So 0. Based on the data type you are storing, 0. So 120 location you can get the first element. 120 plus 1. Here 1 means 4 bytes. Why? Because you are storing the integer elements. Based on the type of elements you are storing, you have to be varying with the index and the byte storage. 124. 120 plus 4. 120 plus 4. Why 4? Array of 1. Array of 1 means 120 plus 4. Array of a means 120th location plus 4 bytes. Why 4 bytes? I am storing the integer. Suppose you are storing the floats, it will be the 8 bytes. 120 plus 8. Array, when the concept of array, you have to remember the thing. Array stores the elements in a content and similar data type of element. You are allowed to store only integers or only strings or only floats or only doubles. That means suppose if I go with the one float and one integer, it will not take. In place of this you can write a elements. Similar element means similar data type of elements. I hope you all understand why you have to start with the index 0, 1, 2, why you are like this. Because of continuous memory location, you can access through the indexes by adding the first memory location to that. Based on the index, you have to add the bytes and you can access the elements. Right? This is the basic thing regarding the arrays. Arrays means array stores the similar data type, that means similar data and in a continuous memory location. These are the major things you have to be remember with the arrays. Okay, next, array elements you can access based on the indexes. Okay, indexes start from the 0. Why index start from the 0 means actually the variable which you are storing the array of elements, it will refers to the first element location, first element location. Because of that you have to be go with the 0. Okay, and 1 2 3 like that. Why it will not be 0 0.1 0.2 means it's a illogical, right? 1 means it will be the 4 bytes or it will be the 8 byte, depends on data type of elements you are storing. Suppose I can store the only character of elements, then it will be the only 1 means 1 byte only. Why? Because I am storing the character elements. Because of that, right? This is the thing with the array of elements. How can we access and what is the array? And okay, so now we can see with the how can you declare an array. There are the two types of arrays. You can declare the fixed size of arrays and the dynamic size of arrays. Okay, you can go with the Eclipse. Hmm. I have to change my prospect to the Java. Hmm. Java. Okay, right. Okay, in the SRC I can create another day9 new package of com.day9. I can create a class. My class is the arrays. Arrays intro. Arrays intro. First thing, how can you declare an array is how to declare an array. Declare an array is, suppose you want to store the integer type of elements, then you have to first mention int. Suppose normal variable, how can you store int a like this, right? But here it is an array. For that, how can you declare is like this. Like this, you have to declare. Suppose you have to allocate the fixed size to the array. It is one way of declaration. Okay, now you can access the elements or store the elements like this: 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5. Okay. Hmm. Why it will shows you are not mentioning any fixed set. Array constant can only be used initializes. Suppose control C. It is one way of declaration of the, suppose you want, you are intent to, give the fixed values to your array, right? These are comparative declaration of the array values. Okay, this is one way of declaration. You can declare an array of elements. Suppose you want to store the character type of elements, then char array of. then it will be the character type of elements you have to store. Suppose A, C, D, E. Okay, this is the way you can store the character type of elements. And another way, mm, suppose first this is the way, right? Int okay, first we'll go with the above one. I'll have to be this is another way. That means you have to fix the size for an array. I think wait. Okay, first we'll go with the above one. There is above one has to work right. Oh, sorry. Already one A is there. I am trying to accessing the other again A. That is the thing. New int of 5. Now it will come. In before what I do, simply I can use the here also A. Simply I use the here also A. In the place of B also I try to use the A. But already use the A variable in the character type of array. Again I'll try to go with the same with the integer type of array. Here the typecasting will be for the array typecasting is the different thing. So because of that I'm getting the error. No, it's fine. This is the another way. You have to declaring your size for the array. If you are intent to declare a size for the array, then this is the way. That means that the B contains only the 5 elements of size. That means beyond the 5 it will not accept to store. Suppose if I try to store B equals to hmm, it will throw an error. Why? Because array constant can only be used in a initializer. So, okay. Now also I am getting error. Why? Because if I go with the int of 5, that means it will allocate with the filling of 5 size. But we are not try to initialize any values to the array. The first thing is, suppose you want to declare an array, you can declare the elements like this by using int b of equals to, then you can mention the n number of elements in the array. Like this is one way. Suppose you want to mention the size for an array, you have to write, if you mention the size, you are dynamically you have to read the values and add to it. Dynamically you have to read the values and try to add. Suppose I'll try to print a sys out of a. This is the, if I print a, it will print entire array. b is declared but you are not assigning any values, so because of that it will return the result. That means memory location it has to result. Suppose you want to store the elements, then b of 0, b of 0 equals to 1. Next, if I print this, right, b of 0, that means I am adding one element to the b type. I think I am not save it. Run the file. Okay. Do. Okay, this is the one way. You have to be store the elements and you can print. Suppose you want to traverse. Suppose you want to traverse inside the array, then how can you do? It is mm, this is the one way of initializing. I can go with the one way int arr equals to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the one way, right? Suppose if I want to traverse the every element, how can I do that? Traversing. First thing will be the traversing. Traversing. How can I traverse into an array? We all know the looping statements, right? For loop. For loop is the need to us for traversing into the array. But for that you need to know the length of a array, right? Suppose this is the 6 element length, right? How can you know the length? Is you have a array dot length is a method to know the length of an array. Suppose it's out of arr dot length. Arr dot length is a method to know the length of array. That means it will return how many elements inside your array. Suppose it will return 6 here. It will return 6 here. Then index stops at 5, right? Why? Index starts from 0, but element code starts from 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Index starts from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Always your indexes is 1 less than the array of length, array length, right? Based on the array length you can traverse. How can you traverse? Is for int I equals to 0, I less than arr dot length. If I mention the less than or equals to, then I can get an error of array index out of 1. Suppose array index is still 5, a of 5, but I try to access the a of 6. A of 6 is not existing in the array, but if I try to access it, then it will return array index bound, array index out of bound exception or an error. We'll see that one also. It's out of arr of I. By using the indexes you can access, right? I means I becomes 0, I becomes 1, I becomes 2, I becomes 3, I becomes 4, I becomes 5. When I becomes 6, this loop condition fails. It will not execute the loop, right? Server is running. First it will returns the array length. Why? Because I am print that array length, right? Okay. First it will return the 6 5 because it is the length of an array. Next elements 1 2 3 4 5 6, like this. This is the way you can traversing in the array of elements. Suppose here you are declaring the array elements before the compilation, right? But you are intent to read the array elements also. Suppose you are intent to read the array elements also, then what you have to do is, we'll go to that. Suppose here I am declaring the array elements, right? But now what I have to do is, I can add the array elements. How can I do it is, I can just declare an array int arr. Okay, I can just declare the array int arr, and right, first suppose I can read. Okay, first I'll go with the read for of int I equals to 0. Suppose I have my intent to read n elements, I plus plus, but n is not defined, right? For that what I have to do, I have to read the n first. How can I do? Scanner fc equals to new scanner class of system.in, but I have to import that scanner class. Where can I import java.util.star. Okay. mm. I have to read the n, right? So int n equals to sc dot next int of sc dot next int of. Okay, but I can print something above that. It's out of enter enter the array size. Okay, enter the array size. Next what I have to do is simply arr of I equals to arr of I equals to you have to read the value, right? So sc dot next int of sc dot next int of. Okay, sc dot next int of then arr of I equals to sc dot. That means here I can print something after reading it. It's out of enter array elements. How many elements I need to enter, I have to know, right? Enter array elements of n. Okay, enter elements 5 array elements. Okay, I will run this. How can I run? Go to the run. Okay, enter array size, right? My array size is suppose 6. Enter 6 elements, right? 1 index out of 1. Okay, why? Because I am declaring the size and giving the here empty array. Because of that what I have to do is I have to mention the array. In before we are seeing another type of array, right? Which type of array? With the size based int. How can I declare that one is int arr equals to new int of my size is n, right? So n, nothing, right? Then again I can run it. Suppose you want to read the array server one, only one element I can enter, then it will return nothing. I can run it again. Array, array. Suppose 6 elements. I can go with the enter the elements of 1, 12, 23, 34, 56, 67. Then my length of elements will be the 6, and these are the all elements in my array. Why this second type of array declaration is for suppose you are dynamically need to read the array values, then this type. Okay, that means this is the size what I have to declare for the array. This is the dynamic size I am giving to my array. This is one way of declaring array elements at the time of compilation, or you can go with the traversing. That means you can read values for the arrays also. It is second way. And you already see how to traverse in the array of elements, right? By using the indexes. This is the index based traversing. Suppose another way is there. In the time of loops I will set that for each loop, but I am not explore that. For each loop is there. For each loop how it will help is you can traverse based on the elements, not based on the indexes. That means suppose traverse based on for each. Traverse based on for each. Okay, how can you traverse based on a for each loop? Is simply syntax is for, okay, integer. Why? Because I have the only integer of elements, right? Suppose my element will be the ele colon and array name. My array is this, right? Now what it do is ele means, here ele means suppose you have any basic idea regarding the Python language, then you have a for I in like you can write like this. Here also element will be the every element. Suppose my array is 1, 10, 100, like this my array. Then ele becomes 1, ele becomes 10, ele becomes 100. Okay, this is the type of the elements you are stored. It is the array name. Okay, it is the array name. It will be helps in a collections also. You can go in the collection sets, and also we can use this type of loop. This is the element based traversing. That means suppose here el means exact element, so you can directly print the element. I have to be differentiate above one this one, right? So element plus ele. Okay, element plus ele. In before, if you observe, when in the index based search you are based on the ARR of index value. Based on the index value you have to be traversed, but here what to do based on the element. What in the, this is for each loop, we call this as a for each loop. I have to read the elements now, right? I have to give the size. My size is 7 elements I have to add. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Element 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? Here two ways of traversing I show you. First one is index based traversing. Second one is element based traversing. It will return or it will run till the element will be the out. Suppose if you observe in the index based search, I'll go with the less than or equals to array length. Then I get a exception. What exception? Array index out of bound. When you are dealing with the arrays, the major exception you can expect is array index out of bound. Why? Because here I have the indexes of till the what the length minus 1, but here I can go with the array element less than or equals to length. Then that means I am searching for the length index also. Length index also. Suppose I have a length of 5. I can check for the array of 6 also. ARR of 6 also. Then it will throw an error of array index out of 1. I'll show that. In before also we'll get it right. Hmm. Again, I just enter the one element. Array. Element will be the 23 pin, but it will throw an array index out of bounds exception. Why? Because I have the only one element in my array, but I try to access the ARR of 1 also. Then it will throw an exception. You have to understand the thing. Indexes always one less than the length. Why? Because you start the index count from the 0. Okay. Here you have to differentiate yourself. I'll show the two ways of traversing and how to read a dynamic array values. If you want to read the dynamic array values, you have to use this type of declaration. Use this type of declaration of array. Okay. This type of declaration you have to remember. That means okay, right? And this is single dimension array. Why we are calling it as single dimension is because it has a only one dimension, only one index based you are searching, and two dimensional is there. Two dimensional means simply matrices. You all know the matrices, right? Simply matrices. How can you go through the arrays for the multi-dimensional? Multi-dimensional means here we are discussing the two. We can go with the three also. We can go with the four also. We can go with the five also. Not at all an issue. First we'll go with the multi-dimensional in the two. In the multi-dimensional arrays, new my new class is multi-dimensional array. Right? How can you declare a multi-dimensional array is for the single dimensional array? How can you declare? You can simply write like this, and ARR you can declare like this, right? This is a single dimensional. That means only one dimension you are used. Then single dimensional is we can use another one. This is a two-dimensional array. Okay, that means it has one index. One is for rows, one is for columns. How can I declare the values for this is simply it is like a array inside an array. Array inside an array. Suppose it is one array. Inside this I have to create another array of elements 1 2 3 comma 4 5 6. It is simply one matrices. Which matrices? 3 by 2 matrices, 2 by 3 matrices. Every element was one row. It is row. Okay, it is row. Outside array indicates the row. Inside array elements indicates the columns. Okay, in the multi-dimensional you are discussing based on a rows and columns. Rows and columns. Okay, it is a row, it is a columns. That means what will be the size here? The size will be, suppose you want to calculate the length of an array, it will return the 2. Why? Because array means it is one element. It is one element. Okay, ARR dot length means only this element. Suppose ARR of 0 dot length is 3. Here you have it two things. One was ARR dot length. ARR dot length how much? 2, right? ARR of 0 dot length how much? 3, right? Why? Array of 0 means this one. This is also one array. You are calculating length for this. 3 elements it has, right? Uh, Now how can you traverse for this multi-dimensional arrays? Is by using the nested loops. By using the nested for loops. Uh, there are two ways you can traverse. One was based on the row based, column based. Row based means first you have to print 1 2 3, after you can go to the 4 5 6, or else first you can print by column wise. Suppose normally if you write it as in a form of in the form of matrices, how can you write 1 2 3 4 5 6, right? 1 2 3 4 5 6, 1 2 3 4 5 6. Suppose you want to print in the column based way, what will be the output? 1 4 2 5 3 6. But we are not follow this, we are following the row based. That means 1 2 3 4 5 6. After completion of this one row, you can come with the other row. Okay. uh, how can you traverse in a multi-dimensional array? Is first thing you have to know. Suppose how can I access this one? First thing, how can I access this one? What is the index of this one? Based on the indexes only I can access the values of an array. But here it is a multi-dimensional array. Then how can I access this? First thing, it is 0th index, right? In the 0th index, what element you are trying to access? Again 0, right? 0 of 0. Here it is, if 2 means 0 of 1, 3 means 0 of 2. It means 4 means 1 of 0, right? uh, ARR of 0 means 1 2 3. If print ARR of 0, it will be 1 2 3. Clear? That means it will print this entire thing if you are printing this ARR of 0. Okay, clear? ARR of 1 means this one. Suppose ARR of 0 and 0, it means it will print ARR of 0 means 1 2 3. Inside this you are printing 0 index element, it will be the 1, right? If you are go with the ARR of 0 colon 1, sorry 2, suppose 2, then what will be? 3 it will print, right? Why? Because in the 0th index of the, that means simply in the 0th row second column you are printing, it is the 0th row second column, right? In the same way, ARR of 1 and 1, what element I can expect? First row first column. Suppose you are taking the column way or the first, that means you are fixed with the, this is 0th column, first column, second column, where column count start from the 0. Okay, column count start from the 0. So 0th column, first column, second column. Okay. uh, 1 means first row first column, that means it will print 5, right? It will print 5. This is the way you can access the multi-dimension. Suppose inside this you have array another array, then it will be the 3-dimensional. For a while 2-dimensional is enough for us. uh, in 3-dimensional means, suppose you can use another thing. Inside this you can create another one, 1 2, it will be the 3-dimensional. But here it will be the only single, right? So I can do one thing, and here also I have to increase. Sorry, right? Now it is fine, it is 3-dimensional. Okay. For a while We are good with the two dimensional. Is that enough for us? Right? Now, in a looping way, how can you traverse? The same way, first you can go with the complete entire zeroth row. After that, move to the first row, right? Hmm. For int I equals to 0, I less than arr dot length, right? Arr dot length colon I plus plus, right? I plus plus. Inside for loop, what I have to do for int another take j equals to 0, j less than or equals to j less than or equals to which length? Column length, right? How can you find the column length? Arr of I dot length or arr of 0 dot length. You can take the symmetric array, then arr of I dot length or arr of 0 dot length. Then j plus plus, right? uh, Suppose you want to print the first row first element, this out of, how can you get the 0th row 0th element? Arr of 0 column 0, right? 0th row 0th column element. That means column represented by, here if you write like this, I represent the rows, j represent the column value. Okay, that means first in the 0th one it will complete for the 0 1 2. Okay, 0 1 2, 0th I represent the row, j represent the column. It will be the anything, don't fix for the I means row, j means columns. You can use mn, it is just simply a variable. It represents for the rows and the columns. Rows indicated by the I, columns indicated by the j. Okay, right, it's complete. Now I can run. Array index out of bound. Why? Because of this, right? I am searching for the count, what is the length, that index value also, but my index stops before the length, right? So that is the issue. Now I can move it again, run. Hey, right, 1 2 3 4 5 6. This is the way. Suppose you want to, suppose you want to read the elements of the m rows and m columns. You want to read the m rows and m columns, n columns. Then how can you do? How can you do the same thing what you do, right? You can use for the reading purpose also, control C for the reading also. How can I read? uh, in place of this, I can display the row count. Suppose I want to read the 3 by 3 matrix, 3 rows and 3 columns, but here I have to read that value, right? Read the value means arr of I colon j equals to, sorry, I colon j equals to sc dot next int. But I have to create that scanner class, so it shows an error. Not at all any issue. I'll create that scanner class, scanner sc equals to new scanner of system dot in. Okay, right? Here you can import scanner class, import java dot util dot star, right? Okay, next it will be the 3 by 3. Suppose you can read as it as a rows variable and it has a columns variable, you can go with that. But here I can declare a array, right? So it will throws my an exception. So what I have to do, new int of new int of two columns you have, right? Which matrix you have to store? 3 by 3. Then you can go with the 3 by 3, right? This is the way. So if you want to print something, here you can go with that, or else you can just that means first you are reading the rows, every row, and comes to the new row. Once I'll run this. Okay, I'm not mentioning any system.out.println, so it will not print anything. I'll do one thing. I can enter the elements. Okay, suppose I'll enter 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, array 78, 78, 90, array 89, right? uh, 1, 2, 3 are the first row elements, 5, 6, 78 are the second row elements, 90, 7, 8, 9, 0, 89 are the third row element. That means you are reading based on the rows. Okay, you are based on the rows you are reading. Clear? This is the way you can read the, suppose you can take simply this as a rows, okay, those as a columns, and you have to read these rows and columns here. Okay, this is the way you can traverse to that two-dimensional and read the two-dimensional array of elements. How can you take the rows and columns in? Simply rows, right? Rows equal to sc dot, next int rows, int columns, int columns, sc dot, next int, right? Here I can pass the rows and columns. Why? Because rows and columns, based on that I have to write rows and columns. This is the way dynamic approach. You can read the rows and columns of the dynamic, and also changing the rows and column values also, right? And the thing what we have to discuss, some problems on arrays. Okay, this is the about arrays introduction and what are the multi-dimensional arrays and all. Now we can go with the some problems on arrays. Those are nothing but array problems. Okay, first problem is reverse an array. Reverse an array. Okay, suppose I have an array int arr equals to int arr equals to 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5 comma 6, right? Array 1 2 3 4 4 5 6, right? Now I have to reverse them. Suppose if I have to print sysout of arr, it has to be print 6 4 5 6, like that. Suppose if I print this, it will print directly 1 2 3 4, right? But I want the reverse of the array, 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5 comma 6. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5 6, it will print like that. But I want as a reverse order. How can I do that? How can I do that? One way, you can start traversing from the back to front. You can start traversing from the back to front, like for of int I equals to 0. Okay, sorry, I equals to arr dot length minus 1. Okay, ARR dot length minus 1. Okay, ARR dot length minus 1 and I less than or equals to, sorry, I greater than or equals to 0 and I plus I minus minus is out of ARR of I, right? ARR of I, comma, I can get that, but I want it in a like this in a single line. Then I can go with the, this is the way. Okay. What I am getting? 654321, right? 654321, right? I can get it. Why? What I am do? I can start printing from here to this. This is one way. This is the one way. Or else you want to modify your array only. Suppose you want to modify your array. You all know the swapping of variables, right? Swapping of variables. That means swapping of two numbers, like that. Maintaining one variable at the top, at the front, maintaining other variable at the last. Swap these two. After that, move to here, and this is also move to this. Swap these two. Again increment this, and again increment this. Swap these two. Then also you can get the array in the way. Suppose, okay, this is the one way you can traversing or reversing an array. Reverse an array. Next, sort the elements in an array. Sort the elements of an array. Okay, how can you sort it? uh, Sort the elements of an array, it will be the task to you. Sorting techniques is there. One was the bubble sort, one was the normal sort. Bubble sort is the basic sorting technique, you can go through that. Okay, bubble sort. And arrays, in the arrays what we missed, hmm? Okay, some of elements in a array, some the elements of array, some the elements of array. Suppose uh, there are 1 2 3 4 5 6, right? You want to print the sum of numbers in the array. Then how can you do? Just simply take a variable int sum and traverse, and add that to the thing, right? uh, and another one, and another things. Your task is to, hmm, remove duplicates. You can go through that. Remove duplicates also. Okay, suppose you want to replace one element. Suppose here I have the 4, right? I want to change that 4 to the 7. How can you do? 4 index is array of what is the 4 index value? 0 1 2 3, right? AR of 3 equals to 9. This is the way you can add an element to the array. That means insert at the particular location. Okay, 659321. Now can we can end up this session here.